Morning. Thank you all for joining us. I think we have a very informative and educational and hopefully conversational way of talking about water, and hopefully it'll be a great learning opportunity for all of us today. I'd like to invite forward our Vice Mayor Chelsea Byers, Council Member Lauren Meister, and Council Member John Heilman to welcome you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for taking time out of your Saturday to spend with us. I'm Vice Mayor Chelsea Byers. I'm really honored to have worked with Councilmember Lauren Meister to put this event together and to bring this education to you all. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, in the midst of a desert landscape that had me constantly questioning what was happening with our water resources, how we can better manage them, how we can better think about this. Now living here in a dense urban environment, while the situation looks different, the need for solutions is still abundant. And it's really impressive and important that we have a community that is so engaged in these questions as well, helping drive these solutions forward. So I'm really grateful for our speakers here, help us think about this in bigger ways, and thankful to the staff who helped us put this really important event together. I'll turn the microphone over to Councilmember Lauren Meister to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you. So I walk every day, and every day I walk past what we call the Melrose Triangle. And the Melrose Triangle is right now, it's a kind of a big hole. And what they have to do is they have to dewater it because the water is there, right? The groundwater is there. And I see hundreds of gallons of water every day just going into the storm drain. And so for me, I keep thinking, what are we doing with our water? How can we repurpose our water? Can we conserve our water better? Because water is life, right? And even with the recent rains, we know that the rain was not captured to the fullest that it could have been captured. And so we need to be talking about it so that ideas are generated. And I'm just so pleased that you're all here and interested in water, because for us in the city of West Hollywood, you know, we are always looking at ways to improve environment and to move forward our climate action plan. And just quickly, I'll just say I really want to thank UDAS, which is the Urban Design and Architect Studio, because since we formed this department, we have had a number of symposium that have been just fantastic. One about biodiversity and urban forestry, one about pops and parts, which is about adding green space to private developments that the public can utilize. And so this is just another great symposium with an incredible panel, and I want to thank all of our panelists for being here. And now I will introduce Councilmember John Heilman.
Thank you, Lauren. And I want to thank all of you for being here, and I want to echo what Lauren said, thank our staff for bringing everyone here today, and thank our speakers. Looks like it's going to be a great symposium. Today, for whatever reason, we have scheduled so many different events, so I don't know if we're going to be able to stay for the whole thing, but I know, Lauren, you're going to be here, and I hope you'll be able to stay for the entire event today. Thank you again for being here today.
And let them know it's recorded. It will be recorded.
Excellent. So it is being recorded. So if you have friends or family who weren't here, we will be able to share it with them. Thank you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and Council members. I should have introduced myself. I'm Ric Abramson. I'm in the role of City Architect in West Hollywood. I manage the Urban Design and Architecture Studio. And as Councilmember Meister mentioned, you know, one of the tasks that we are asked to look at is how we can elevate awareness about the built and natural environment in the city and some of the challenges and opportunities that face us as we move forward. So this is really a wonderful chance to at least talk about one aspect that's very important, which is water. I do want to acknowledge an amazing team of staff that came together to produce this. It was a highly collaborative effort among multiple divisions, our long-range planning division, our current and historic preservation planning division, our facilities and field services, and our great communications team. These are really a joy and a pleasure for us to put together, but they do take a lot of effort. So really kudos to all those who pitched in. All right, so I think we can get started. The format for the day is we're going to have 3 speakers, approximately 15 minutes. We'll take a break. We'll come back, have 2 more speakers, and then we will invite the speakers to come up for a discussion and conversation with the community. We hope to touch on really a variety of opportunities in and around water going forward, because it's a fairly complex issue. And so we've got a terrific series of speakers that are going to be touching on policy, starting regionally and how we even get water to West Hollywood. And then we'll talk about how we use it in physical reality. So we're looking at construction and some of the technical challenges. We'll be looking at how water really sustains all life and the ecosystem that's in place and how we tap into that. And certainly the design opportunities that come when we think about water as an important and central part of any new design for a project. So this event acknowledges that the land on which we gather and that is currently known as the City of West Hollywood is the occupied, unceded, seized territory of the Gabrielino Tongva and Gabrielino Quiche peoples. Councilmember Meister mentioned that this is now the 3rd event that has been produced. The first one did touch on our tree canopies and green space and the role that they play in combating urban heat, keeping us a little bit cooler, and supporting wildlife that is central to everything that is necessary for a complete ecosystem. Then the Pops and Parts was a look at the changing nature between public and private space and how certain private interests are moving into the public realm. I've mentioned in the past, the challenges of accommodating outdoor dining and robot delivery devices and e-bikes and scooters and rideshare drop-offs and billboards and a lot of entities that are interested in the public right-of-way and trying to find that balance. And then as that is occurring, maybe there's a little bit more crossing from the public realm into private property and how certain new developments could actually create quasi-public space so that old style line between the public and private maybe needs to be reconsidered. And that was a really wonderful symposium as well. And so today's topic, Waterwise Waterworks, is looking at the fundamental roles that water will play in supporting life in the future. So we wake up in the morning and we, perhaps think, wash our face, drink a glass of water, soak in a tub, without a second thought that there might not be water available. We take it for granted, yet without serious and concerted planning efforts and changes in the patterns of use, there could be a day in the future where that faucet doesn't necessarily run every day. We may think it's years off and will never happen. Well, actually, it's happening now. I came back from a trip to Mexico City a couple months ago, and they're a similar metropolitan dense city, albeit larger than the LA County area, but they are now on water rationing, and there are 3 to 4 days a month where different sections of the city have no water, and it's 3 or 4 consecutive days. So this isn't as far out in the future as we necessarily might think, so it's an important conversation. And this is why we have to have the conversation now. In West Hollywood, our city council through the last decade has shown tremendous leadership in adopting new policy and implementing certain measures. A key vehicle is the city's Climate Action and Adaptation Plan. A primary focus of this plan includes restoring and even regenerating nature as an essential component of supporting climate resilience and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And of course, water plays a foundational role in the larger equation and ensures not only human, but animal and botanical health. So often when I'm speaking to others in the community, they say, well, why doesn't the city just ... right? Like, why doesn't the city just form its own water district so we could control the water and not have to rely on others, right? So there's a lot of that, why doesn't the city just? But it's a complicated issue, and I think what we're going to learn today is that, yes, there are some things that absolutely can be done locally. There are some things that could happen regionally, but there are certain partnerships and alliances that have to be forged because there are so many involved in the question. And even if rainwater can be captured, the reality is that, capturing stormwater can be expensive and at times an unsanitary method for amassing a significant water supply. So yes, we can talk about we need to just capture the water we're going to use, but there's a lot more to it that we're going to hear about today. And surprisingly, the most stable and reliable source of water actually comes from recycled or reclaimed water. And that's one of the topics that will be talked about today as well. So even that strategy requires heavy investment in infrastructure. So there's no magic pill, but I think with careful planning, foresight, there's a number of things that can come together, both on the policy side and the planning side and the design side and the construction side. And I think that's the sort of theme for today. So we're going to hear diverse points of view about water as a resource and a fundamental driver of all life in the city. We have amassed amazing expertise for you from accomplished individuals who will share with us how we've arrived at this point, where the challenges still exist, but also where the opportunities lie, and how with thoughtful policy, creative design, and engineering solutions that emphasize nature-based solutions especially, there is a more stable and equitable future possible with respect to water as a resource. And so, setting the tone for today, there's these themes that will be going throughout the whole thing, and we'll sort of be building on one or the next. But I think the big topics that will be touched on include the nature-based design solutions, techniques, methods, and theories about maintaining ecological health, the critical need to have very thoughtful and careful resource management, understanding that water is just a part of a larger whole, but an essential part in the climate resilience discussion. And then finally, I know many in this room have some thoughts and concerns about construction. So we'll be talking about that a little bit today as well. All right, so before I invite our first speaker up, I did want to share that as I was preparing a little bit and reading a book by Seth Siegel, Let There Be Water, one of the things that struck me that I sort of knew intuitively, but I never really thought through it, is that the last time a raindrop is pure is before it hits the ground. And so a lot of our water policy and methodology is based on the fact that when water comes in contact with the earth, in a rain situation, there are pollutants and there's toxins and other things that start to come into the mix. So if it was just as simple as capturing it and using it, we would have, been in good shape long ago. But what we're going to hear is that there's a lot of other considerations that have to be in the equation.